my last question, I guess, is specifically what are the things that you've seen grants maybe fund the most, or they're, and I mean, I guess that's probably a bad question because grants can fund a lot of things. What are some of the things that grants don't fund? And I guess my question is specifically coming from customers who have, say, a continuing project and they want to see if they can use grant funding to either help them to, let's say, cover the cost next year or to help them fund an expansion to the project. So they're not doing anything new, but they know that they have a project or a program that they want to continue to invest in, or that they, it's going to be it's a $50,000 investment every single year. Can they pursue grant funding to add to that or cover that $50,000 next year? Is that something that would be impermissible to use or pursue grant funding for an existing project? Or, specifically, I guess what are the things that grant funding can't support?
Okay. Well, I will say this, a lot of grant funding will not support
Hmm.
individual use, things like that. However, like I said earlier before when we started this, there's a lot of grant opportunity out there now for pilot programs and for expansion as well.
Hmm.
I don't like for clients to be just totally um, dependent on grants, right?
Hmm.
So a lot of grants now will ask the question about sustainability and what you're going to do moving forward,
Hmm.
what you're going to do moving forward after the grant process is over. Okay. And a lot of times you have to have an answer for that. But the caveat to that is there are
Hmm.
workarounds. Okay. So sometimes people may not have internal capacity to take it
Hmm.
on their own as far as through the organizations. Yes, yet they're still working on it, right?
Hmm.
So I'm not going to say that they probably would do the exact same program, but why not expand to a larger audience or something like that? That could be different. You see what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Maybe expanding into another region,
Hmm.
maybe adding more people to the grant. That's different. Maybe adding one other component that may have been different, from the first grant, or almost every grant you find some good things and some bad things about it, right?
Hmm.
So you could probably even use that to say, okay, well, the first round we did it, we had a great time, whatever, but we learned that there were some things that we'd like to improve upon, right?
Hmm.
So if we have another round of that, of that monies, or increase the amount of money that we have available for this, we can actually address those issues and challenges that we had, and make
Hmm.
sure that we're able to move forward with a more robust and successful grant application and program, right?
Hmm.
So there are different ways to kind of to I guess frame it, so that it's not necessarily you doing the exact same thing. Because if you're doing the exact same thing, no movement, no nothing, it's something about it that needs to change. It's
Yeah.
something about it. If it's not sustainable, beyond that, it's something about it that needs to change, or something that needs to be expanded, or that can be improved upon.
Gotcha. So really, as long as obviously each grant has a different priority area, but as long as your overall goal fits the priority of the grant, the only things that really aren't going to be funded are, your personal use of funds. You're not going to be able to use it to pay for vacation.
Not at all.
Um, and
Food
if
a lot of
they,
times too. That's weird. No,
yeah,
seriously, we've run into that with some clients as well. Like, and we know it, food a lot of times brings people out,
yeah,
especially if it has something to do with outreach and various things like that. A lot
mhm,
of time food does help. Um, so food, that's something that, a lot of people, especially with government grants, some foundations will allow you to have some very creative uses for things, but those are things that you need to specifically address with your program manager or whatever for that particular funder. But what I
Mm,
would do is maybe you can reach out to, if that's an issue, reach out to maybe a corporate sponsor,
mhm,
because some of those corporate entities give out grants as well.
mm,
The Walmarts, the Targets, the KFCs, almost every large entity that you know about has a foundation arm to it.
yeah.
Okay. So that may be a way for you to feed your people, but food a lot of times gets a lot of people in trouble.